Hello and welcome to the July 4th Neepawa Banner Press edition for the Story Behind the Stories. I'm your host this week, Casper Wehrhahn, a writer, archivist, and photographer with the Neepawa Banner Press. And I'm joined this week, of course, by my wonderful colleague, Joshua Jackson. Joshua, thank you for joining me today.
Hello, everyone. Yet again, you guys keep on getting me back, and I guess I keep on doing the thing enough to warrant being talked to and talking about this town. So it's a pleasure to be here, and of course it is a pleasure to be alongside my wonderful host, Casper.
Well, thank you very much. Always great to have you on the show, and of course you've been doing a lot of work here at the paper. You've been going sort of everywhere.
You said that, not me, so...
I think you have, and you're going to be making some trips this weekend, of course, but won't spoil that. You got to look forward to next week's paper to get a good look at all that good stuff. We are going to focus on this week's paper, of course. That's what the show is for, and we're going to start off right on the front page and a little bit inside the paper too. Of course, we had Canada Day this past weekend. Partial weekend for us. We were kind of in Monday, out Tuesday. And there was a lot of happenings going on in and around the beautiful Plains area here in our coverage area. So we have some of those photos, of course, on the front page. And you do got to pick up a hard copy of the paper to get a good look at those photos. But we got some fireworks photos. We got some face painting and some enjoyment of the beach over in Minnedosa, a bunch of other stuff as well. And of course, there was a lot more going on that we didn't have photographed in the paper, but I hope you take some time to look at what we were able to cover. And Josh, you were in Minnedosa for a bit there. You got our amazing firework photos. Tell us a bit about your experience out there.
Yeah, it was pretty great. So it was Canada's 158th birthday on Tuesday, so happy belated birthday, Canada. And I would just like to say how calendars work and stuff. We are stuck with the weekday Canada Day for, I guess, another few years until it makes its way to Friday. But let me just tell you, I don't like having a long weekend in the middle of everything. I just feel so disrupted from my normal routine, and everything is chaos. But I can tell you what wasn't chaos, and that was the celebrations in Minnedosa. They had so much going on. It was so cool to see everyone just kind of packing the beach, vibing out. You could see some barbecues, a lot of families just having fun and fellowship, which was really great. The fireworks display was amazing. Watching them over the lake was just so beautiful, and we were quite lucky because on the way home from Minnedosa, in the distance, there was a thunderstorm, so I really, in a sense, got 2 fireworks shows that day. So just love to see people stepping up to celebrate this beautiful country.
Absolutely, and going a bit into the paper here, actually on page 10, because this is related to the Canada Day celebrations that happened in Minnedosa. I unfortunately wasn't able to attend this part of the celebrations myself, as I was actually in Neepawa covering Neepawa's events, but Owen Devereaux was out in Neepawa during the day to cover, or out in Minnedosa, I don't remember what I said there. He was out in Minnedosa covering the daytime celebrations there more in depth, and there was a very special unveiling, I guess not really unveiling, but a ribbon cutting going on that day, and that was for the brand new Florence Bold Memorial Spray Park. This is a project that has been going on for a few years now, since about 2023, I think it was, just for design and all that sort of startup stuff, and just got completed with being fully operational this year, and of course being opened with members of the Bold family in attendance. There were some people there giving speeches, of course, from the family, and the mayor was in attendance as well to give some words and of course help in the ribbon cutting ceremony. And this was a very special project as well, because this of course is dedicated to the late Florence Bold. She lived in Minnedosa previously, raised a number of kids there, and had some grandkids raised there as well. Moved away from the community later on, and of course later on had unfortunately passed in 2001. And her youngest son, Rod, ended up actually bequeathing the financial support from her passing to the town of Minnedosa, to Minnedosa Parks and Rec, to be able to build this for the community. And I think that's really special. They want to give back to the community that the family spent so much time in, enjoyed so much. And this is something that even more families can enjoy. And I hope that they're able to do that for many, many years into the future.
Yeah, and it looks, I had the chance to walk past it when I was in Minnedosa, and it looked really well done and really great. So I'm glad they could get it open for Canada Day, because I know there was a little bit of talk and discussion that it wasn't going to be open until later in July. So I'm really glad to see that people are out there and using it. Casper was right. The work for the creation of the park did begin in 2023, and with the park now officially open to the public, all are welcome to enjoy it during its hours of operation, which the Florence Bold Memorial Spray Park is operational Monday to Sunday from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. So you have kids, you're looking to cool off, may as well go down and enjoy Minnedosa's new splash park, spray pad, whatever we want to call it, because it is summer. It is a scorcher out there. And speaking of summer and scorchers, a lot happening within the community of Neepawa, and we saw this year's newest class of graduates graduate. Yes, the last few weeks of June were grad season, and if you look in this week's edition of the Neepawa Banner and Press, which we urge you to pick up, it is a great 16 pages. We have so many good photos and so many good stories, a lot of which we are not touching on here. But on page 8 and 9, you can see some of the local graduations that happened around the community. Plus, we have all the scholarship, bursary, and award winner information for Neepawa School, Neepawa Area Collegiate, I should say. And let me just say, as someone who was at grad, attending it and covering it, crazy to see such a big class of students graduating. I cannot remember the number off the top of my head, but it's around 100 to 135, I think. So that's crazy, because I remember when I graduated, all the way back, I'm not going to say the year, but we were one of the first classes in then recent times to have over 100 kids graduate. And we just barely cracked it. Casper, tell me some of your graduation memories. What are your thoughts on this grad season?
Well, it certainly is a big class, and I think it is definitely a bit more, at least, than my graduating class. I don't remember how many were in mine either, but it just seems to get bigger and bigger each and every year. And I have to say, maybe you won't remember this, but the grads used to be held in the gymnasium in the school, not at the Yellowhead.
Really?
Yes. When my brother was going to school, his was actually the last grad held in the gymnasium at the school. And oh my gosh, if you thought summer was hot, it was sure hot then, because you had all those people into that area, which when you're a student and you're using it, it seems pretty big, right? Well, when you have that many grads and that many families attending, it gets warm pretty quick.
Oh, man.
Even with doors open. So I was very thankful for my grad year. That was the year they decided to move it to the Yellowhead.
No kidding. I couldn't even imagine having it in the NACI gymnasium. Just how, as you mentioned, how hot that would be. And at least if you are having it in the Yellowhead Arena, it's a hockey arena. There's supposed to be ice in there, so it runs naturally cool because it's all cementy. But wow, I did not know that there were actually graduations held within the gymnasium, and that would be so cramped for space too. Whoa.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, classes used to be a bit smaller, and then of course over the years they grew because we have a lot of people coming to the community, a lot of new families in the community over the years, and so very much appreciated change by the time my grad rolled around, both for space and of course keeping a little bit cooler with all of the fancy dress on, and then the grad, of course, garb that you wear for the ceremonies there. But no, if you see these people, maybe give them a little congratulations. Of course, grad is already passed, but always nice to give them a little extra kudos and wish them well on their future endeavors. We do have a little bit more to celebrate in Neepawa, of more of an artistic variety, and that is on page 2 here. You might have seen some stuff from these individuals in the past for winter, I believe it was, but we have some new stuff around town for the summer. There's some student-made art that has been put up throughout the town of Neepawa, I think just along the main street, if I remember correctly, and very beautiful, vibrant additions to the community to really sort of highlight the downtown for the summer. All of this art was made by NECI students and was put up by Katie Martin and Megan Peters, I believe is the last name for Megan. It just looks fantastic. And I mean, why not do it, right? It's something to bring a little extra attention to the community. Maybe some people stop and take photos with it and share it around.
Yes, I am a big believer in community and public art. One of my gripes about Neepawa is we need more murals. We need more public art. We need more murals. We really just need a way to liven our downtown up. But that's a conversation for another time when I can be more articulate on that. But to see all of this art from local Neepawa artists being posted up around the town is great. I love getting to drive when I drive to work, when I drive around town. It's just nice seeing that splash of color, and these are very well-made pieces of art too. It just absolutely brings a smile to my face to see it. I do only have one minor beef, and this is not to ruffle any feathers. The only thing I don't like is I notice the way that they're hung on the poles. They will slide down, so it's at the base of the pole, so I have to crane down. So if we could find a way to keep those held up on our street signs so people can actually see them and not have to look towards the base of the light pole to see the art, absolutely wonderful. But it's such a cool concept, and what I really appreciate is they are going to be making these seasonal. So right now we're seeing some summer flowers or birds, and their plan is to have them installed all summer and then decorate Mountain Avenue for each season. And it's so simple and so great, and you get to see students and avid, passionate artists in the community do something good and brighten it up. I think that's the essence and the beauty of it. We need more of that. So kudos to all who is helping to zhuzh up Neepawa.
Absolutely, well said, Josh, I think. And yeah, I mean, like you said, it's great for a number of reasons. Just sort of going back to the, brightening up of Neepawa aspect of it. I mean, yeah, it's great to have more art in and around the community. Like I said before, it gives a little bit of an extra something for people to look out for and look forward to. And with this sort of being a seasonal project, we'll have lots of different things to look forward to with the coming projects that they do for the seasons. Of course, we have yet to see something for the spring specifically, and of course the fall. So I'm eager to see if they do anything for the fall this year, but we'll have to wait for that. Might be a future thing. We'll just have to hold our horses and see what happens and when.
I have an elevator pitch for the fall ones.
All right.
Hear me out. Charlie Brown theme. Their Thanksgiving episode, The Great Pumpkin.
Yeah.
Yes. I just really like Charlie Brown. So that's maybe some personal bias, but whatever they come up with, we know it's going to be phenomenal, and it's going to make the streets of Neepawa look that much better. Now, Casper,
yes.
Speaking of streets here, boy oh boy.
You have a big story, don't you?
It's not my story, but Owen has been doing the work for us. And we're going to take you over to Carberry now.
All right.
Because of the planned intersection at Highway 5 and the Trans-Canada Highway, Highway 1, is sparking some outrage in Carberry. Now, this has been more than just a local news story. This has been a provincial news story on CTV, CBC, Global, you name a major outlet within Manitoba, they have covered it. But it's in our area too, so we get the joy and the privilege of doing it as well. So basically, to give you the Spark Notes version, if you don't know what we're talking about here. So, after a accident that a multi-vehicle accident in 2023 that killed 17 people. They have been hosting open houses in Carberry to figure out how they are going to change the intersection. One of the leading ways is known as a restricted crossing U-turn, R-cut for short. And the R-cut basically would force the drivers turning from Highway 5 to turn, if they wanted to turn like left, they'd have to first turn right onto the Trans-Canada Highway, travel for a kilometer, and then go and execute a U-turn to go back to their intended direction. So a lot of people from Carberry are not happy about it. There was a petition recently that has been circulated as well. There was a open house where over 200 citizens from the area came to voice their displeasure. They want an overpass, and they think that this is not a great situation. Some people are even describing the proposal as a fiasco and accusing the province of pushing a cost-saving measure that fails to prioritize public safety. A lot of MLAs and other government officials were there. Our own local Jody Byram was there. She expressed her belief that further data gathered is needed. Further data gathering is needed, especially during peak traffic times such as harvest or during the spring. As you know, Carberry is home to a lot of potato farmers, and imagining trying to operate that big equipment and those big trucks, having to do the R-cut turn must not be great, as well as you do have a major potato industry there, so that could hamper it. I don't have an opinion either way, honestly, on what happens. I just write the news, so we will keep you up to date and definitely follow what is happening with this. Casper, I just went on and on there. Is there anything that you'd like to mention about this story?
Well, it's certainly had a lot of talk around it, and rightfully so, I think. Obviously, living here in Neepawa, I don't have to use that section of road too often, or that highway too often. But the people concerned about this, the people who use this area on a day-to-day basis, do have some good points about it, in my mind. Because yes, there is the concern with there not being any through traffic, not being able to do the left-hand turns without doing the R-cut first, that there's going to be some difficulty with bigger equipment trying to make that turn, farm equipment or truckers who have a couple trailers attached to them, and of course, confusion from people who aren't familiar with this. And there would be a lot of people who aren't familiar with this because it's not common in Canada to have something like this on the roads. It's more common in the States, but in terms of Canada, we've only got one in, I think it was Calgary. Saskatchewan or Calgary.
I have a highlight.
One of those areas anyway. And so it's not something that people come across. And, there was other options that, while yes, they're maybe more costly, such as the overpass, these people feel maybe would work better. It would not disrupt traffic flow if they did an overpass. But, of course, there was the cost factor to it. And so obviously that is sort of less in favor because of the cost in terms of the agencies working on this, the government working on this and their perspective. But I don't know, I don't really know how I feel about it. Yeah. I don't favor the R-cut either, I gotta admit. Even as someone that doesn't have to use that on the day-to-day, someone that doesn't haul farm equipment or trailers or any sort of stuff like that, I would also like to see a different route taken for this that would hopefully work better. But yeah, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. And I mean, I do hope that the voices of these people are heard, because there is a lot of concern about it, concern that maybe there'll be more accidents due to whatever happens with the R-cut here. So I guess we'll just have to find out. I mean, maybe some of you out there have opinions, and maybe you'll be writing letters yeah, we'll figure it out, I guess.
Okay, Casper, still so much going on here in the Neepawa Banner and Press, the July 4th issue to be specific. And we just encourage you, make sure that you're going out to pick up your local paper and to support some local journalism. Speaking of local things that are happening, which obviously if you're reading the Neepawa Banner and Press, you will see local, but it's not every day that we get to brag that a local citizen has been drafted to the NHL. And that is exactly what happened last week, if you want to say. So the NHL draft took place in Los Angeles, California on June 27th and 28th, and McCreary's own Brady Turco is headed for the show. He was selected in the 7th round, pick number 200 of the NHL's entry draft. So, who is Brady Turco? Well, we have that answer for you. He has been a member of the WHL, Western Hockey League's Brandon Wheat Kings for the past 2 seasons. He had 8 goals and 21 assists during his campaign there. And before he made it to the WHL, he was a big part of the under-18 AAA Brandon Wheat Kings, where he had over 133 points with the club over 85 games. That is over a point per game, which is pretty staggering and pretty impressive. He was not on the NHL's central scouting list, so basically the thing that a lot of scouts use to rank prospects and just kind of determine how good they are. So in an interview with the Brandon Sun's Perry Bergson, wonderful writer by the way, he said that he was a little shocked and didn't necessarily expect to be picked. Turco already had made a splash with the club as he reported to the Anaheim Ducks 2025 development camp taking place from June 30th to July 2nd. The camp consisted of off-ice workouts, skating, and skills development. Now, the Brandon Wheat Kings of the WHL, they did actually put out more than just Brady Turco to the National Hockey League through this draft. In the 10th overall pick, Roger McQueen was drafted to the Anaheim Ducks, so he will have a little bit of familiarity with his teammate Brady Turco, as well as the other Wheat King, Carter Klippenstein, 123rd overall to the Minnesota Wild. So he's not leaving the cold. He'll get the Minnesota Winters instead of the Manitoba Winters. So great to see that we have NHLers coming from around the area, and that will hopefully make a difference within the National Hockey League. So very excited to watch his development over the next few years. So Casper, that's my sports news for you.
Well, thank you very much. If you know me a little bit, you know I don't really do the sports thing.
Oh, I know.
It's not a secret, that's for sure. But it is always exciting and encouraging, I think, to see these new chapters happening for people that are locals from around the area. And we do still have a bit of time, so we can highlight some other things from the paper. Of course, there's so much that we can't cover in the 30 minutes of the show. I mean, we've got back on page 2, Christine Waddell did a wonderful story on some strangers from quite a ways away that came through the town of Neepawa here on a, quite the journey. They're doing a bit of a global trek, as it were, which actually began in I apologize if I've mispronounced this, Caledonia, which is a French territory located just a bit of ways east of Australia there. So lots of interesting details on that. Please do give that a read as well. Of course, we've got our weekly looking back section, and I cannot take credit for the headline there. That is the original headline from the 2005 paper. You'll have to give that a look if you want to know what I'm talking about, and so much more. I mean, we've got our editorials, of course, all of our opinion pieces, some letters, thumbs ups, thumbs downs, some more news on someone who actually retired after, I think it's about 40 years of service with a local restaurant here in Neepawa. Again, we've got our awesome grad section there. We've got more sportsing that we didn't get into. A whole lot of other stuff here. We've got some submissions from Ken Kingdon. Always has a wonderful wildlife submission. And of course, some donations. Sorry, a bit of a dry throat there. A donation from Co-op and High Life to support the Neepawa Salvation Army, and a bunch of other stuff as well. So please do pick up a hard copy of the paper. Check all this out for yourself. And if you want to support us, I mean, hey, advertising helps. That's what keeps this paper free and keeps us doing our jobs to get you the news. So do reach out to us at ads@neepawabanner.com or give us a call at 204-476-3401. And of course, news tips and stories and photos and all that good stuff you can send to news@neepawabanner.com. Once again, I'm Casper and this was Joshua. And thank you for joining us on this week's show, and have a great rest of your week.